Hi, and welcome everybody to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. My name is Ross Benjamin, host of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. Once again, I'm joined by these two gentlemen, Jesse Schule and Sean Higgs. Just a friendly reminder, folks, we're powered by GamblersWorld.com and GamblersWorld.net, two separate divisions of our company, all on the same. One end is the .com is the video section, and the .net is where you'll find 10 of the finest handicappers in the country, including us three. And without further ado, Mr. Jesse Schule, how are you, my friend?
I am doing great, Ross. Finally got a winner under my belt yesterday after back-to-back losing days, and that always feels nice. And still really looking forward to the upcoming football games this weekend.
Yeah, myself as well. Mr. Higgs, have you adjusted? Well, you only had an hour time difference.
It's like a 2 hour. It's like a 2 hour difference.
Yeah.
I'm catching. It's you when you're out there. Like I'm an early. You get up early anyway. So now it's kind of like I find myself staying up a little later here, and then still waking up at 6. So I'm like, yeah. I'm all right. I'm still young. I can handle
2 more hours. You could talk. I mean, 2 more. Yeah, yes. Talk to yourself. I mean, that's not an issue. You fill in time and voids. But anyway,
thanks,
Ross. Kidding, Sean. You're my man, buddy. You know that. Anyway, Jesse's going to be covering the Bears and the Colts on Saturday evening. All Saturday games here. The Bucs and the Jets is going to be Sean's game. I'll be looking at Denver and San Francisco. And if you were with us last week on the channel, we went 11-5 in week 1 preseason picks between all the handicappers here on all the assigned games. You can't do much better than that, folks. Yeah, you can go 12-4, 13-3, but I'll take 11-5 every week, all week long. And trust me when I tell you, 11-5 is very difficult to do on a weekly basis. Anyway, let's start with the games and the Bears and the Colts. And Jesse, right now, Indianapolis a 3.5-point favorite, and the total is 40. Indy coming off a similar line last week where they were a road favorite, not a home favorite, at Buffalo. They were as much as a -5.5-point favorite. They fell to 3.5, and they lost the game outright. And Anthony Richardson looks like he's going to make the start again. So what do you got for us, Jess?
Well, Ross, you and I talked about how we both feel about Anthony Richardson. And since we had that conversation, he had a disappointing debut, and his head coach has named him the starter, which is mind-blowing for me. I mean, perhaps it gives you an idea of what the expectations are this year for the Colts, naming him the starter so early in camp, especially when Gardner Minshew was 6 for 6 on a drive that led to a touchdown. You can't ask him to do much more than that. I think if you want to win games, Minshew's your man. And if you've named Anthony Richardson the starter, you don't want to win games. That's all I got to say about that. We did talk about his college career, 58% completion, or 53.8% completion in college in his last season at Florida. His very last game against Florida State, he completed just 33% of his passes. He did throw for 3 TDs and a pick, 198 yards, but they lost that game 45-38 to Florida State. I just, people are seeing something with Anthony Richardson. I'm not seeing it. On the other side, you got a Bears team that is 4-0 all time under new head coach Matt Eberflus. They haven't lost a preseason game yet, and I'm not going to be betting on them to lose this one. The likes of Justin Fields, PJ Walker, and Nathan Peterman, maybe not great quarterbacks in the regular season, but going up against the backups, I like their chances. I'll take the Bears plus the points.
All right, so Jesse Schule, he likes the Bears plus 3.5 at the Colts. Jesse, I agreed with you when you made the comment about Anthony Richardson last week. He didn't wow me at no time when I watched him at Florida did I say, wow, this guy is a top 10 talent. But in his defense, I watched the game. The game was against Buffalo, so I watched the entirety of the game, including his performance. And I was a little more impressed than you were because, number one, he had one bad throw, that interception, where he was rushed and threw it to a spot, and it was a misread by the wide receiver who ran the wrong route, in my opinion. And other than that, he was effective. And they dropped the touchdown pass on him early in the game. But in any event, yes, the jury's still out. I'm not so sure how he's going to pan out in the regular season. I personally think that they're rushing him, and that's going to be to his detriment from a confidence standpoint. But I don't know what choices you have when you name off their backups. So I guess it's just a process of elimination, the lesser of three evils. And they think, look, we're not going to win a Super Bowl or be a playoff team anyway. Let's get this kid right in there under center. So we'll see how that pans out. Sean, I know you have something to say.
You wait me late 6 minutes before I get to say something? What the heck's going on?
Yeah,
Ross?
I
wish I was here last week for this show. Anthony Richardson, I'm still wondering how this guy with 7 starts under his belt gets to be a top 5 pick in the draft. Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that about? And then you say you're going to start him in week 1? Like I already bet the Colts +4. What's going on here? I thought we're going to have a little Minshew mania. I could ride with him as a little backup. I don't care about Jonathan Taylor. What the heck? Wow. All right. Hey, thumb to the Wolves. That's fine. I get it. You know, learn on the fly, but I'm with you. What did we see out of this guy? Oh, he's got some good wheels, and they like the dual threat kind of thing nowadays in the NFL. I mean,
again, he reminds me of Jamarcus Russell. I hate to make that comparison because it's unfair to
Jamarcus Russell at least won. Didn't he win in LSU? I mean, that guy had a cannon as an arm too. I mean,
yeah, he did.
I mean, in my opinion, even if you think he's going to be good, I think you got to agree that it's a mistake to name him the starter so early. You know, why rush that? Why not let him have a couple more games under his belt in the preseason?
You make him the starter, and they lose 29-6 opening day, and he's 7-19 with 120 yards and 2 interceptions. That's gonna be a long season because now you can't pull him because you say he's a starter.
No, you can't.
Right. Well, at least are going to be all over him if he struggles this week.
You know, Pitt and with Kenny Pickett, at least you're in Pitt. It's Tomlin. You have a kind of system there to let him play. Everybody's like, oh, he's got to start. Nah, eventually we'll get him in here a little bit. See how the season goes.
Pittsburgh's much better as well, Sean. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. But I mean, to throw a kid in there in week 1, well, good luck, guys, because this is your quarterback the next 3 years unless he gets hurt. Because that's what you're telling him. No matter what the outcome is and how he performs, he's the quarterback. Because you start yo-yoing kids. I mean, that's what he is. He's 20 years old? I mean, that's really good for confidence.
I like Gardner Minshew, but is he going to take you to the promised land? No.
No, but he's that bridge kind of guy. He could go in and get some wins.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah. So we'll see. You know, see how it pans out. Again, I got to think and believe that they see a lot more in this kid than we did. And Sean, nailed it on the head. He only had 7 college starts. Come on. Where are you getting this from? The guy's a top 5 pick in the NFL draft with only 7 college starts. And it's not like he put up gaudy numbers like Jesse alluded to, 53% completion rate. Again, I saw another quarterback that was 53% completion rate in his senior year, and he panned out pretty good in the NFL. His name is Josh Allen. Anyway.
I thought you were going to say Tim
Tebow. End over end passes at its finest.
You're a Buffalo guy. How about JP Lossman? Who's your backup up there? JP
well,
Lossman,
Nathan Peterman was for a while. Jesse named him as well. I mean, but Nathan Peterman, even with his days with the Raiders and Bills, he was a good preseason quarterback. He won the starting job in, I believe, 2018 or something like that for the Bills, and they went out and threw 5 interceptions in the first half of his first game. So, anyway, the Bucs and the Jets. Sean, now you have your opportunity to have the floor all by yourself.
Thank you.
All right. The Jets are -2.5. The total's 36.5. Where are you going, my friend?
Well, here you got a couple teams that have some quarterback fights. I know everybody loves Aaron Rodgers, but Zach Wilson won some games here. But I'm looking at Tampa Bay here and the points. How about a little money line on Tampa Bay? They're 2.5. You could probably get a 115, 120 here. They sat out 16 guys last week against Pitt. Not a lot of starters played. And from my understanding, we're going to get Kyle Trask, the third year. Here's a guy, Played a couple games at Florida. He's sat behind the bench behind Tom Brady. He's going to get the start today, and our guy Baker's going to come in second half. I like it. I mean, here's a team that says, hey, we'll give a shot to both quarterbacks to see who's good. I mean, you got Baker, who's a good game manager, right? He's got a decent coach on the sidelines to steer his head a little right. He can make some plays. He's got the team has talent on offense. I kind of like the Bucs a little sneaky here on the season, but give me Tampa Bay here. I don't think Dalvin Cook's not playing. I mean, the Jets are trying to turn into like that Eagles super team back in the day where they're bringing in every kind of older late 20s veteran here, but he's not playing. What are we getting at Aaron Rodgers? I mean, I know we'll talk about some Jesse will bring up a little Jets backup quarterback who likes to put on a show here. He's, Strevlin's pretty good, but give me Trask and Baker. I mean, Baker in the second half versus like guys who will not be playing in the NFL. I like my shot here at a late outright win here by Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, and it looks like an obvious pick. The Jets, I mean, they won 27-0 last week at Carolina as an underdog. Now they come home 2.5-point favorite. A lot of excitement.
One last thing. I'm sorry, I forgot. So,
okay.
I think joint practices I talked about in yesterday's video. One joint practice just today. Usually they have like a couple. So they're only getting one. And that's where usually you get more veteran kind of play, a little kind of game speed. So they didn't play last week. One practice. Yeah, I'm expecting starters for a quarter, a half. I'm going to say at least a half for this game. That's my bold prediction.
Are you done?
Yes, I'm done now.
Okay.
Put my mic on. I'm muting myself.
No, you don't have to do that anyway. I thought you were going to bring up another fight in a joint practice like Washington and Baltimore had yesterday. I mean, those joint practices, Jesse, they're okay, but they're turning into the WWE for crying out loud. So anyway, any thoughts in regards to what Sean had to say?
Yeah, I mean, Sean mentioned Chris Streveler, who was probably the best in the business last year in the preseason. Apparently, they cut him after one bad series in the opening game, so he's not going to be back with the Jets. I don't know. I have to think that there's more to that than just the one bad series he had in one game after performing so well last year.
He's whining. Go ahead.
Well, no, I didn't even know they cut Streveler, but you have Zach Wilson. What are you going to do with that guy? Like he's give him a year behind. I don't think that guy's a total bust yet. I think he'll be all right. You get hurt, you lose a preseason. It's tough in the NFL. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jesse.
First of all, he got thrown into the fire last year when he shouldn't have. He wasn't ready. The guy's got NFL talent armed. There's no two ways about it. He's got some mobility, and now he could learn behind one of the best in the business ever. So I think, no, you're right, Sean. You don't give up on a kid like that early. You spent the number one draft choice on him last year. Why would you give up that early? I think the idea was they didn't think he was ready, and they think the Jets are the personnel that they've put together is a playoff caliber team right now, and I agree with that. So you bring in Rodgers. What are you going to get? Another year or two out of Rodgers, maybe? I mean, he's saying he wants to play to his mid-40s, but having said that, I mean, you go for the gusto right now, and when he's ready to retire, you got a kid that's ready. I mean, he wouldn't be the first. Zach Wilson, I'm referring to, wouldn't be the first quarterback who sat on the bench 4 years and came in and thrived. There's another guy on the same team that did the same thing under a guy named Brett Favre. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. All right, so you have Tampa Bay plus 2.5 over the New York Jets. Sort of a gutsy play there, but I can't disagree with it, and I certainly don't disagree with Jesse taking the Chicago Bears plus 3.5. I will tell you, folks, I watched bits of the Bears game last week. Be real careful. When you look at Justin Fields' stats, it looks like he put up massive numbers. He had 2 passes that went a total of maybe 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage that went for 75 and 67-yard touchdowns. So let's not get carried away there, and don't be misled by that. But by the same token, Matt Eberflus, as Jesse pointed out, 4-0 straight up in APS since taking over as the Chicago Bears head coach in preseason action. All right, I'm going to take a look at the San Francisco 49ers, who will host the Denver Broncos, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time start. Denver laying 4.5 on the road, Sean. I know you brought this up yesterday, total of 39. Both of these teams are coming off away favorite straight up losses. And why do I mention that? Well, I got my database goes back to 1983 with not only all the regular season action, but NFL preseason action as well. This is the first time in the entirety of my database that goes back to 1983 that there's been an away favorite like the Denver Broncos coming off an away favorite straight up loss versus an opponent coming off an away favorite straight up loss like the San Francisco 49ers are. That's how unique this situation is. I know it's preseason, but it's still unique. Denver coming off that 18-17 loss at Seattle. They blew a 10-0 lead at the half. San Francisco just didn't show up against Las Vegas last week, 34-7. And I ridiculed Chip a little bit when he gave us Las Vegas, but boy, oh boy, was he right on that one. So again, since Shanahan has taken over as head coach in San Francisco, the 49ers are 4-0-1 against the spread in preseason action as an underdog, and they won 3 of those 5 games straight up. And Sean Payton, in his head coaching career, his last 24 preseason games combined between New Orleans and Dallas, his teams have only gone 8-16 straight up and 6-18 against the spread. So again, as great a regular season coach as Sean Payton is, again, I discussed this time and time again. I put a lot of emphasis on head coaching trends, and certainly Sean Payton is one of those coaches, unlike John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin, that doesn't put a lot of emphasis in winning during preseason action. He uses this time for evaluation. So having said all that, Sean, I'm going to agree with you. I like the San Francisco 49ers here, plus 4.5 against Denver. I wouldn't be shocked if they won the game outright, but I'm not going to get greedy. I'll take the point, Sean.
Well, you know how I felt yesterday. You got a team in San Fran, a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of guys. I mean, this is the week we got some quarterbacks. They're looking to stick with a team, show off for another team, and you're going to get, again, I told you I like Darnold, right? Coming in here. But they're going to give Lance a shot. Although, did I read that Purdy's already locked in for the spot here on opening day?
No.
Is that no? That's not true. That's
healthy, right? I thought
no. The quote that I read from him was very non-committal. It's his job unless he doesn't play well. Was that I'm paraphrasing, but all right. Which basically means it's.
I don't see how he.
To me, that means it's up for grabs.
I don't see how he starts week 1. The guy's he's not going to play all preseason. He hasn't thrown a pass since he had his arm broken or whatever the heck elbow problem he had in January. You're going to throw him in week 1 in Pittsburgh?
Sorry, let me correct that quote. It's his job unless he struggles, but he's too good of a quarterback to struggle.
Yeah.
So that was the quote from Shanahan. But what does that mean? That means if he comes out and looks poor in the preseason, he's just lost his job. That's what that means to me.
I put yesterday $50 to win $2,500 on Darnold to win comeback player of the year.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Quite possible. You got 2 quarterbacks right now. The other 2 quarterbacks in Purdy and Trey Lance coming off major knee injuries. So one knee injury, and like you said, with I stand corrected on Purdy, elbow injury, was it, Sean? If I recall
right, it was the elbow or forearm, something. Yeah. He couldn't throw the ball.
I mean, Darnold's a heck of an insurance policy if that's the case. I know there's been a lot of talk here in Western New York. Let's trade for Sam Darnold because he's number 3 on the depth chart, and we need a backup quarterback. Why would you part with Sam Darnold? I mean, you're delusional. San Francisco is not going to part with Sam Darnold. Not with 2 quarterbacks with the recent injury history that they have. So, again, I like San Francisco plus 4.5 over the Denver Broncos. Jesse, he is on the Chicago Bears plus 3.5 over the Indianapolis Colts. Sean likes the Tampa Bay Bucks plus 2.5 on the road at the Jets. Folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing. There's no strings attached. There's no hidden agenda. If you're watching on your PC, you'll see a WC button there in the bottom right-hand corner of your page. click on that. It'll subscribe you. If you're watching on your mobile devices, which a lot of you are because the statistics show that, there's a black subscribe button right underneath your video box. You can't miss it. Hit the subscribe button, and after you subscribe, make sure you go into your YouTube settings and hit your notification alert bell, and you'll be notified upon any of our Winner's Circle Sports Betting podcasts going up on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. Try saying that 10 times in a row, Jesse. Anyway, Jesse, what do you got going on this week? What do you got planned in hot streaks?
Hot streaks, how about a perfect 8-0 with my last 8 NFL preseason plays? I got 3 on the board already for this week. Pretty excited about it. The action will start on Friday night. Got some specials over at jesseschule.com, and you can get all my picks at gamblersworld.net, along with these 2 handsome gentlemen. So come and see us there.
There you go, Sean. When was the last time somebody called you handsome? Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe at my wedding I look nice. I don't know. Actually, I should say that. My mom always says I look nice when I put on the polo. She's like, "Oh, you look so nice when you're dressed up." Well,
you do look good. Look at you. Got a new polo on again today. I'm impressed.
Man,
boys are all see you're styling and profiling, man. You got to look the part. Successful. Go ahead. Tell the folks what you got coming up.
I was going to wear the same shirt as yesterday because I only keep it on for like the 40-minute show, but I got to rotate them. I have enough. I got 5 polos. I'll be all right. I'll be okay. And someone that said in the comments like, call me cheap because I won't pay $65 for the what's it? Listen, I'm not paying for. I am not paying for preseason football. You're out of your mind.
Is it the same guy that calls you Shane?
No, not the same guy called me Shane.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, well, again, preseason. Not so. All right, listen. Speaking of preseason, I'm going to have 2 packages up on the Gamblers Roll page. I did my little write-ups on a couple games. I got 7 total I like this week. 2 write-ups, two packages. MLB, 38-28 run, I believe I'm on. So it's been a nice August. We're just going to grind it out for the next week and a half here, heading into college football week 0, and then NFL, which I'm excited about, obviously. So Twitter, Mr. Sean Higgs, and, of course, Midday Money.
And you can find all of Sean's picks at gamblersworld.net, as well as Jesse Schule, as well as mine. I'm on a roll right now, 14-6 with my last 20 in Major League Baseball. Again, folks, the NFL preseason started 2-0 last week, 20-10 since 2021. And a documented 76-52 in the NFL preseason since 2010. And all 3 of us, and also Mark Lawrence, and I want to say Matt Fargo. You remember the 5th guy that was in the top 20 all time in the NFL preseason, Jesse? It was 5 of our handicappers. Anyway, if you could check my Twitter page at Ross.
I was
Benjamin
number 20.
Yes,
I know I was 20.
That. But you're still in the top 20, winning record. So
I think I had the most picks too. So there goes to my voluminous.
Anyway, the NFL preseason, I have a pick up right now at gamblersworld.net. It's on the total in the Philadelphia-Cleveland Thursday night matchup that will be aired on the NFL Network. Major League Baseball on a roll as well. And folks, we don't ask for a heck of a lot, but there's a like button right underneath us. And Jesse, tell them what you want to do with that, what they should do with that like button.
I'd like to remind everybody that they should really consider smash that like button.
Yes. You can yell on this channel.
And please offer your comments below the video.
Yeah. I mean, with a little effort, he could be emphatic. Anyway, until the next time, which will be tomorrow, I'll be back with Chip Chirimbus and Doug Upstone for more NFL preseason action. Us 3 will be back on Friday morning, and we'll be covering the NFL preseason again. Folks, all 16 NFL preseason games covered right here this week on this channel. We got 5 of them up already. This one will be up shortly. If you're watching live, you got that already. So we got 8 more games to cover. And don't forget, 11-5 last week in the NFL preseason. Hit that like button, subscribe. Until the next time, for Jesse Schule, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless, folks.